Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello, my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I am Gary, your host, and this is our Memorial Day special to commemorate all those who have served in the military. And so I've got a fistful of war comics here just to go through. I tried to select a wide variety of various publishers and creators. And I know this is Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. I know it's not really a war comic, but it is in the same vein as military. And it's the closest I can come to commemorate my fellow submariners. And I want to show you this right here. That was my ship. I served on for 4 years, about 40 years ago. And here in the Denver area, there's a place at Sloan's Lake that it is called the SS Grayling Memorial, and is a memorial to the submariners, American submariners who were lost during the war. And it has a memorial, a pedestal with a torpedo on it, and then various plaques, one listing all the submarines, American submarines, lost during World War II. And it also had a list of all the sub-sailors from Colorado who died while on patrol in World War II. So I just thought I would mention that. Of course, and at first here is Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. This is from 1966, I think it was. And this, of course, based on the Irwin Allen movie and TV series by the same name. This great painted cover by, it looks like George Wilson. Of course, there's no credits, but it looks like George Wilson. With interior art by Italian artist Alberto Giolitti. And after that, this is Army War Heroes from Modern Comics, a reprint of the Charlton book, the entire book. This was was about 82 or so, I think, reprinting the book from 1969, I think it was. This featured the Iron Corporal. I did a deeper episode on this particular issue. This is issue number 36, with this cover art by Sam Glanzman. And after that, I have Two-Fisted Tales, number 12, War and Fighting Men. This is a 1980s reprint of the 1950s EC comic. This is number 12, and this is primarily written by Harvey Kurtzman, with the Harvey Kurtzman cover. He did a lot of research and and his stories. And the first story, which is the one that's represented by this cover, is based in the Korean War, which was going on at the time, and it also and that was Jack Davis illustrated story. Then it has two stories drawn by John Severin. One of them for World War One, featuring air battles, and followed by a Revolutionary War story, and then a World War II story, I think it was, if I remember correctly. And then here we have from Dell Comics, War Stories, Combat, the Great German Desert Fox. Yes, this is a story. I didn't even know Dell was still publishing under their name at this time. This is from I think it was from 1972, and is a reprint of a 1961 Dell comic, and it features a lot of historical stuff in this particular book, and stuff regarding George Rommel, the Desert Fox, the Nazi general. Then we follow that up with Marvel's Combat Kelly and the Deadly Dozen. This was about 1972, I think. 71, 72, something like that. And Combat Kelly is not terribly well known. It was a short-lived title, and he was it was a spin-off from Sergeant Fury, with the same kind of stories involved. You see this action-packed Dick Ayers cover with Dick Ayers interior art. It says, "At last, the story you demanded," which nobody demanded, "the origin of Combat Kelly." So it's all mostly told in flashback to when he was a fighter, a boxer, part of the war. Ah, yes. And then everyone's favorite, Our Army at War, featuring Sergeant Rock. This is number 282. This is, I think, was about 1975. With the interior art for this cover story with Sergeant Rock was by Joe Kubert, and had a little backup story of USS Stevens, written and drawn by Sam Glanzman. Then we come to Our Fighting Forces, featuring Captain Hunter. This is from this issue number 103. And this is another Joe Kubert cover. And in this period, this would have been 65, I think, 66. From 1966. And the Joe Kubert just did the cover, but the interior story is an issue-length story of Captain Hunter, and these stories, Captain Hunter stories, he was a Green Beret fighting in Vietnam, so it was one of the few stories of contemporaneous events. Then we go back to Marvel again with Sergeant Fury and his Howling Commandos, number 127. And this is a reprint from Sergeant Fury number 25. And a great Jack Kirby cover with interior art by Dick Ayers again. Of course, Dick Ayers, he was great. His best work is not as good as his stuff, especially for the war stuff, was not as good as Kirby's, but I think he did very well in the war comics. His stuff is best in the war comics and the Western comics, and that's what he did mostly when he could. It's what looked the best. And this one has a spy on the commando's base in England, and that spy was none other than the Red Skull from Captain America. Then we follow that up with Warfront. It goes, war is hell. Warfront, true war exposés. The red lice crawled for mercy as their guts melted in face of the bazooka. This not exactly a generous portrayal, racial portrayal here. This is done by Lee Elias on the cover, and has very strong overtones of Milton Caniff, who is doing the Steve Canyon comic strip, and before that Terry and the Pirates. But I guess he had been an assistant to his or something like that at the time, and Lee Elias's work had a very, very strong Milton Caniff look to it. And this book was published by the Armed Forces Publishing Department, printed by Harvey. And whether it was for regular newsstand or for sale at the military post or something, I don't know. It doesn't really have that much identifying on it, and it does say on the NDC, Armed Forces Publications, or Armed Forces Publishing Department, and they are all, the interior stories are various artists, but they are all about the Korean War, which was, and this book is from 1952. So it was contemporaneous at that time. So, and that is all I've got for this. Oh, my pipe kept bumping my camera here. And so that's all I've got here for our Memorial Day special. And to commemorate all those lost in American wars. And I want to thank you all for joining me. And please like, share, and subscribe. And do leave a comment. And for all those out there who may have served, well, thank you very much. Because we always appreciate your service, regardless of the circumstances or conflict. If during a conflict, my period was after the Vietnam War, but in the height of the Cold War. We used to go to sea, and we played hide and seek with Russians, trying to mostly, a little bit of cat and mouse, but we were the mice. So because we had the big booms. So let me know what you think of this, please. What are some of your favorite war comics? So thanks again for joining me, and remember, comics are art.